Excuse me. Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Excuse my flatulence or burping flatulence. Whatever. Who cares? But today we're looking at a pretty in-depth stock repair. Now, if you follow me on the Instagrams or Instagrams, I don't know what kids are calling it. I'm out of the loop, guys. But I got this stock in the other day, and it was actually snapped pretty bad. It was snapped from this point here back to about here. And it needs one more pin. Of course, I'm out of the stock repair pins that I need. I'm going to run one more up under. I'm trying to hide all these pins, actually. But I'm putting them in kind of second best areas, which is why there's going to be 3 of them total instead of just the one I could have done otherwise if I had just punched a pin out here. I probably actually still would have needed 2. Now I need 3, but the customer's going to be happier because theoretically all of these pins are actually going to be hidden. But when you're doing a stock repair, there's really no shortcuts. I'll probably do a video of me cleaning up the check ring and getting the epoxy out of them. I think that'll be a little bit interesting, more so than just talking about it. But you really got to pry it open. So pop this out of the stock and you'll probably be able to see it. I had to wedge it open, so there's a little tiny piece of wood missing here. Now, I've used black epoxy, so it's gonna look like a grain line. If you know repairs there, you'll be able to identify it, but it's not gonna draw the eye to it. And I'm gonna epoxy bed the stock. That's gonna be the next step after this, but you'll see how I wedged this. I'm on the fence about pillar bedding it, but I don't wanna do the extra work without it being really billable. I gave the customer a number and I didn't include pillar bedding the rear in that. Now what I actually can do pretty simply is just put everything together, measure it, and I'll just use a brass tube in there. It won't be a real deal pillar bedding, but it'll just strengthen this up. Putting a pillar in here actually would strengthen everything because it would give me something to bond everything to. It'd be the epoxy holding it together. I think what I'll probably do is actually just build everything out of epoxy back here. I think pillar bedding is a little overblown for hunting rifle. This is a Winchester 70 sporter weight, or featherweight, sorry. So it's not really terribly a great shooter to begin with. They're just super duper duper light, which I like, but you got to be realistic about accuracy. And I think actually if you see it, these lines are for me to put the drill in and know what I'm drilling to, and I'll mark the drill on about how far I'm going. I didn't actually put this one in on the angle I'd originally planned on. It's going more like this instead of like this, which is fine. This angle doesn't really matter. This is more just for me to feel it when I'm putting it in. Feel it out, if you catch my drift. My first plan, actually, if you see this mark here, is I was going to put a pin here through the wrist in a visible location. But I think if I put a pin here farther up, I won't need to put one here and have it be visible to the customer. Because that's the idea, is I'm trying to make this an invisible repair and cover all the pins, but that is a little bit tricky at times. I don't think it's necessarily realistic on every job, but it is realistic on some. Now, I think I'll discuss with the customer, but there's also the possibility of me putting a rod inside here. Get like a 1024 rod, threaded rod, instead of using the stock repair pins just because they're longer. These pins are only about this long. But I don't know if we need to do that. I think it's overkill. I'm pretty confident in this, actually. And I like these brass Brownells repair pin. I'm not putting the third one in today because I miscounted. I thought I had 3 of them. Really, I had 1.5. So I had enough to get going on this. This is probably strong enough, but I don't like probably, because what you can't see here is this crack propagated to about here on the gun. So I want this screw, I want the end of that pin to be at least here inside that stock. So I'm going to come in as straight as I can through here, and that's going to be my wrist support. We're going to overkill the bejesus out of this just because I can. Now the next step frankly, I look like Stevie Wonder when I'm using it, is I'm going to clip these guys off and I'll grind wood away. I'll actually relieve these quite a bit. And we're going to epoxy bed it. Now this one here, this pin is going to be noticeable. I'm creating a new gap. When this got run in, you'll just barely see it on the side of the trigger guard. I can build that up with black epoxy, so again, it's less noticeable. It won't really draw the eye to it. But you'll know it's there, in that we're not doing a hugely perfect repair on this. I think I told the customer I was probably going to charge him in the neighborhood of $400. And I think I'm going to be bang on that, because the other thing on this too is this finish I've played with on other pieces of walnut trying to match it, and I really can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scuff sand this, and I'm just going to spray something on it. Instead of trying to blend existing finishes. I think that's going to be more realistic. But it is more work. If I can blend finishes and do it well, I'd really rather do that, because it's just easier. The customer winds up paying less, and I wind up doing less work. So we both walk away happy. I don't think I need to make every job as big as possible. Sometimes I like to make jobs as small as possible, because I'll make money on the next one. And that's just kind of how I do things. But not everyone does things that way. I completely understand both ways of doing business, and I'm not going to tell anyone what's right or what's wrong. I'm just going to tell you what I like to do. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I think I'm trying to be an interesting video. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. It's difficult to film while I'm drilling these, and I don't have Tourette's, but sometimes I have a hard time biting my tongue, so I don't want to get myself demonetized or sound like an utter nut job. I really do appreciate all the support. I'll try to do, once this is said and done, I'll try to explain more of the process, and I'll probably show you what it looks like when it's done. I think most people would be impressed, but some of you guys are just impossibly jaded.